fling off a little aluminum pan, you're not doing that much damage. But you fling off, you know, a 3-pound plate, like you're putting that through somebody's windshield.
Yeah.
And you're probably killing, and they're probably gonna turn right into the restaurant.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that always like, and then it just got to the point where I was like, fuck it, like, I mean, I have enough faith in humans.
John.
Yeah.
What's going on, brother? Okay, come to the patio door. Yeah. Not the first door you get to. The patio door should be open.
Yeah, patio.
Yep. All right.
So you want to just yell at them and got him up the way?
Yeah.
Not as big a hat today.
No?
No, just make it.
Damn.
But you definitely got to have it. What's going on, bro? Job. Up here, man. He thinks this goes to the machine.
I love it.
What's up, Doc?
We'll probably go that one on this one too, right? So I can talk about Bastoni again, and just be like, like we talked about in our last podcast.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey, tell him the truth. What happened?
I bet you my story is lame than yours. I broke my ankle in December. I bet you my story is lame.
I was like, you're gonna see him. He's got a big fucking hat on. And you got the backwards out the gun.
Yeah.
All right, now tell him the truth. Matt threw him down a flight of stairs.
First he told me he was gonna do the roof.
He said it upstairs.
We're good.
Did you break it?
Yeah, no response.
Bro. Well, yours is better than mine.
Amelia, you're gonna reek of cigars after this.
Just
Keep your heads
step
up.
back.
Well, now my breath smells like onions. So
Does it?
I'm
Good,
gonna go
perfect.
away.
Just adding to it.
Yeah.
In front of women.
I'm supposed to go tour houses after that, so they're gonna love
Oh yeah,
the cigars.
for sure.
Good.
Can I get you a drink?
Absolutely.
What would you like? We're doing
Would you like
Negronis.
Negronis?
Yeah.
That works
You
for
good with
me.
that?
Boy. What you know, man?
Alright, so I was telling LA, we're basically just gonna like just shoot the shit. That's it.
Okay.
Just having fucking fun. I only got one microphone for that side, which you know it'll work, but do like last time, like basically I started off by like kind of just introducing myself. That was episode 1, this is gonna be 2, so like people still don't even know who the hell I am and why I'm doing this. And then we'll introduce I'll introduce you guys, and then I'll probably start with you, and then backstory, you know, where you're at, and then of course it's my job to interrupt you guys and like ask you questions and shit like that. So if I start annoying the shit out of you, you can flip me off, take the cigar back.
No, it's good.
So you LA Brown, and you're good with John Smith.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Awesome. I'll get into it. Well, he's making your cocktail, but it'll be even better like as he's bringing it in. Hey, how's your Negroni type thing?
Yeah.
And then yeah, let's do it. All right, so it's the circle and then play.
Yes.
We're sure it didn't go over the. We're not sure.
We're not sure, but we hope.
We're banking because it didn't start at 0. I didn't start at the time. We're back to 0.
We have another SD card.
No.
We
no,
do.
no. I'm saying it started at 0, but shouldn't have started at the time the other one ended at.
No, because this is like a new taping.
Alright.
Like they're separate files.
Okay, cool.
Try
Awesome.
cuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's gonna be an neon, dude. We were
This is
talking
gonna
about
go a
it.
lot smoother.
I was like, you just gave me alcohol. I was
Well,
just
we were talking about it. I was like, I don't really want to change who I am in this, right? Because like I
Yeah.
drop the F-bomb more than like you know the worst person in the world. So it's like
Not for
I'm gonna,
kids.
yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing. And then like I have one next week that I'm doing with this girl that owns her own company, and like she's correct me, I'm not gonna drop the F-bomb in that one, you know what I mean? So
Right.
that one won't have a big E next to it, but all the other ones are gonna have an E next to it for sure.
Okay, whenever you guys are ready.
All right, perfect. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Salt Your Pasta Water podcast. This is Pat Pascarella again, chef and partner of the White Bull and Grana. So today, actually, is one of our most interesting peoples that I want to bring on. I have Mr. L.A. Brown and Mr. John Smith from Burn of Rocky Patel in the Battery. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks. Going on? It's good to be
I
here,
love
man.
having you guys here. I feel like the minute I met both of you guys, we hit it off.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like bonding over alcohol and cigars is the best, right?
It always works.
Yeah.
Never fails.
Actually, talking about alcohol, here you go. Cheers. Your Negronis here.
Oh,
Awesome.
yes.
Salud.
Salud.
Cheers. So, we're gonna chat about everything, right? So, first things first, we'll go around and ask a couple questions that we've kind of talked about before.
Okay.
What is your everyday cigar?
So,
So introduce yourself, you know,
Okay.
who you are, and then what your job title is. Give them the whole spiel. They want to know.
So my name is L.A. Brown. Originally from California. Worked at Burn by Rocky Patel here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I've been in the cigar industry now. This is 2021. So
Yep.
yes, year 21 for me.
Wow.
Ooh, crazy. Year 21.
That's awesome.
And this all kind of came out of nothing. It literally, I started smoking cigars at a really young age, relatively speaking.
How old were you when you started smoking cigars?
21 years old, 23 years old.
Dude, I started smoking cigars at 15.
Are you serious?
No.
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So I'm 37, so 22 years ago, my first cigar I ever had. So I can tell you what it is too. This is gonna is even funnier. So, growing up working in the restaurant business, right? We was talked about in our last podcast. Like, I started dishwasher. My deal with the guy was like, I want $50 and an order of fried calamari. That's all I need. That's what I need. I'll wash your dishes. I'll be the best dishwasher in the game. You have no idea, right? So, year goes on. I'm working at the restaurant. I get moved up to the line because one of our line just got sick. So I'm like, now you're surrounded by 28 to 32-year-old men.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
And back then, it was a different age of 28 to 32.
Right.
28-year-old men still to this day, right now,
Yeah.
they're still boys. So we're gonna, so they were a little different. They were running their own restaurants, everything like that, and they were also brought up by old school Italians, right?
Okay.
So now I'm around mob guys, I'm around restaurant owners, and all they do is smoke cigars and drink a fuck ton of wine and alcohol. Right?
So what city are we in?
So I'm in Connecticut. I'm in Stamford, Connecticut.
Okay.
So I'm 30 minutes from New York City. I'm 25 minutes from the Bronx.
Oh, wow.
So that's
Okay.
how close I was to everything. I mean, I still tell stories of the biggest mob boss in Connecticut showing up to the restaurant and taking our steaks for the whole night because he's like, tell your boss I said the steaks are on me this time. I'm like, what am I supposed to tell my boss? They're 86. I was like, I can't just he's like, yeah, it'll be fine. So I'm 15 years old, smoking cigars, drinking high-end wine, drinking really good scotch. I had Johnny Walker Blue when I was 15 years old. I was smoking Monte
You were
Cristo
ruined.
number 2 Cubans at 15 years old. So for me, the first cigar I ever had in my life was a Monte Cristo number 2 Cuban.
Okay.
First one ever. Still to this day, I always have a box of my humidor.
Okay.
Always. I gotta get, now, sometimes they're better than the others because you gotta make sure who you buy them from.
Yeah.
So
This is true.
Unfortunately, the last batch I got, they weren't the real ones. So I was really upset the minute I got them. I always can tell if they're real
Yeah.
when they show up. Sticks only, labels come later.
You know what? I got a source for you.
Okay, cool. We'll talk about that after. Yeah, we can't give that away to everybody.
No.
All right, so everyday cigar.
Yes. Okay. So everyday cigar, and that's a difficult one because I smoke 4 or 5 cigars a day. So there's
Even on your off days?
Yeah, especially on the off days. Especially on the off days. So it's gonna be, depending on what kind of mood I'm in, it could be. That's tough.
That's why I love it. It's a great question.
Yeah,
I love it.
because I smoke so many, and
Yeah.
and also because of the job, I have to dip around and I have to
course.
try a bunch of different stuff. Because if a guy comes in and he says, "Hey, listen, I like Butera,"
Yep.
which is, by the way, is a great stick.
Okay.
If he says I like Butero, we don't carry it.
Yeah.
But I've got to be able to say, I know what we have that's like that though.
Okay.
So let me get you this.
Dude, so funny story. So like we were just talking about it earlier. Was that's like wine, right? So we don't have any California French. Can't stand fucking French. we don't have any of those wines on the list at Grana. At White Bull, it's a little bit differently. At White Bull, we have we'll have a couple of things, but I try to always stay away from French wine. But people come in, they're like, I drink Cabernet. I'm like, you and the rest of the fucking room. We don't have it. This is what we have that's comparable to it. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
That's all I say. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you get a lot of people that come in and they'll be like, hey man, I only smoke the Buteras, and you say we don't have it and they lose their shit, or are they actually, because I feel like it burns a little different, right? Like I come there, I'm trying to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
like, it's because the reason why I'm jealous of your job, right, is for this reason alone. Restaurants used to be like that,
Okay.
where you come out and you enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Now it's so quick, it's such a commodity now that
Yeah.
you're in and out so fast, and you're putting all the power in the guests' hands, because they're the ones that are sitting there and they're like, what do you mean I can't have that wine? And they'll lose it. And and it's only gotten a little bit worse with COVID.
Yeah.
COVID really sent them over the edge, with it,
Yeah.
right? So like we were talking about a couple months ago, like my favorite, funniest thing ever was when COVID came out and everybody started posting on their Instagram, oh, we wash our hands. What the fuck were you doing before?
Yeah,
Right,
you nasty
right, come on,
bastard.
dude.
Like, what were you doing?
Not washing their hands. That's what they were doing.
So I never posted it, and people were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What we've always done.
Exactly.
We wash ourselves. We wash our hands. We wear gloves. We put hats on everybody. We're not. There wasn't anything different because we've been doing it the whole time."
Listen, if COVID has exposed one thing, is that the vast majority of the population has been living foul for a
Oh,
long
dirty.
Like,
Dirty.
fucking disgusting.
Real dirty.
Fucking disgusting.
Like, dude, there'd be so many times where like I'll be in the bathroom at White Bull because it's a joint one.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
And hear people leave without washing their hands.
I do you one better.
It's gross.
I do you one better. Right? So, of course, everybody, my name is John Smith. I work at Burn by Rocky Patel as well. There has not been a single shift that I have worked since we opened in 2019 that I haven't caught somebody trying to leave the bathroom without washing their
Oh yeah,
hands.
all the time.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Like, but not only just like, okay, they're leaving not washing their hands. I have watched people hit the urinal, come to the sink, grab a paper towel and dry their
Oh, yeah, yeah.
hands, and then
Oh,
walk
yeah.
out the
Yeah.
bathroom. People are fucking disgusting.
Every day, yeah.
That's where you gotta hit them
Every
with.
day.
Hey, bud.
Hey, exactly.
Soap's free.
Yeah, did you forget something?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's no charge.
Yeah.
I just started squirting the soap.
Yeah, you don't gotta leave it sit. It's fine.
Listen, it's all good, bro.
So
It's included with the meal.
Yeah, right.
It's included with the meal.
So I love it. We keep getting on topic, but favorite everyday cigar.
Everyday cigar.
We'll be here all day.
Yeah, I love it.
He
I
can't
love
do
it,
this.
though. I love
He
it.
can't do this.
I
love
can't
it.
do this. So, but I just pick one.
Yeah.
Everyday cigar, Placencia Almadale combo.
Never had it.
He does like the Almadale combo. He,
Never had
he
it.
really likes
You
the
got him
Almadale
over there?
We do have him
when
over
I
there.
come
I prefer the
over.
Fortes, but he
Okay.
does like the combo.
Yes, I do
Okay.
that. We'll say that. We'll say
All right,
that.
yours? Every day?
Oh man, my favorite, my everyday cigar. I'm a big Padron guy.
Okay.
Love Padrons. LA thinks they're
you
disgusting.
introduced me to one the other day.
And how was
And
it?
I had a second one after when I came back. I had a
Exactly,
second one.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a Padron guy, so if I gotta nail it down to just one, Padron is always gonna be my go-to. Be it the 1926,
Yep.
be it their Family Series, 64s. It doesn't really matter. LA talks a lot of stuff about Padrons, but he likes that 90 as well.
Yeah.
So you know he
So
likes
let me
it
ask you a
too.
question. You guys get in trouble for not smoking Rocky Patels all the time?
Not all the time.
Okay.
Not all the
Like,
time.
do you try to have one Rocky Patel a day?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
We normally have more than that.
Okay, cool.
You know, because it makes most sense for us to smoke Rockies while we're at work.
Yeah, of course.
And Rocky Patel makes phenomenal
He
cigars.
does. He
yeah,
does.
plug.
I had my first one. I had my first one ever on Tuesday.
Which one?
Which
did you
one?
have?
It was a torpedo. As soon as you walk in, on the left-hand side, second shelf down, all the way back on the left.
All the way
if you
back
walk-
on the left
Yeah,
is
so you
that
take a right, left hand, right here. Before you take the curve to go back that way, it was right there. It was like the second or third shelf down. And it was a torpedo.
Oh, no, that
Oh,
was
on the
90.
corner under the
Yeah,
humidifier.
yeah.
That's a 1990.
Yeah, that's a
That was
1990.
delicious.
So that's his.
Did you drink wine?
raw-
Or you smoked it? Yeah.
No, so every time, so I never look at the wine list there because I like your Maker's Mark cocktail, the Atlantic Jewel.
Okay.
With the pineapple and the Aperol. I'm Italian, so I gotta go with the Aperol.
Okay.
So I like that, and I'm not really a bourbon drinker, but with that, with the pineapple and Aperol, really like sets it off. So I love it. and then I go right to Negronis.
Okay.
I mean, when I'm off, like wine for me is like I'm sitting at home with my wife, our kids are fucking wrestling, they're beating the crap out of each other, and we need to pound out a bottle of wine and enjoy ourselves, and hopefully they pass out soon. But when I'm out, like I need liquor.
Yeah.
Like we don't get many days off, and when I do, I need to make them count.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So
I
like
understand, yeah.
I
Negroni
understand.
from start to finish. So I mean, that day, I mean, we had, I don't even want to tell you how many drinks we had. We were there for 8.5 hours. So we had a lot.
That was a very good day.
It was a really, really good day.
I had a weirdo old fashioned yesterday. So, we're at the bar, and the guy's got 80 different varieties of mezcal, which is
Oh,
insane.
yeah.
I've literally never seen that much mezcal in one place at one time. And he says you haven't. I'm telling you, you haven't, because we've got the biggest selection in the South.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it. But he makes it weird. They were doing this thing, and we were doing, had a photographer in, and he was shooting pictures or whatever. And he says, "Hey, is it okay if take a photograph for you or whatever?" And it's like, "Okay, cool. That's no problem." So he's like, "Want to get him serve you a cocktail?" And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I've been drinking these different mezcal cocktails the whole time." And so he's like, "Have you ever had? Do you like old fashions?" I was like, "I like old fashions." He was like, "I want to make you one of our smoky old fashions." This thing puts mezcal.
Oh yeah, you never had
Yeah.
a mezcal old fashioned?
Have you ever had a mezcal Negroni?
Oh,
No.
oh,
That's fire.
bro.
That
sounds
Mezcal,
good.
mezcal
Fire.
Negronis are great.
Yeah.
I also like tequila martinis.
Yeah,
I don't know if
delicious.
you ever had a tequila
Delicious.
martini.
With or without the vermouth?
Well, there's no vermouth in a martini.
Oh, so I put vermouth in my martinis. This is what I do, right? So I do martinis. I tell people all the time, because I walk them through it, I need a little bit of vermouth in there. Or I
Just a
can't.
splash.
So I tell them wet the cubes. And if you got a
Okay.
good bartender, they know what I'm saying. They wet the cubes and they drain it out,
Yeah.
and they hit it with alcohol.
Yeah.
So I say it all the time, wet the cubes. And a lot of times they give you that.
The
Fuck are you talking about? And then you gotta walk them through it.
No, that's when
I'm
you go
like,
find
all right,
another
yeah,
bar.
Yeah, you gotta walk them through it, and then you hope to God and pray that that cocktail's coming out good. 99% of the time it doesn't,
Right.
but the 1% of the time it blows your mind. But
No,
it's good.
but that I can do that much vermouth.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I'm very traditional when I come to my cocktails.
Mhm.
Like if I order a gin martini, I don't really want.
Yeah, you want gin.
I just want cold gin.
Yeah,
cold
and you want
gin.
to taste, especially if you're drinking like a Monkey 47 or an Alco Valley.
Yeah.
You want to taste the gin.
Yeah, you want to be able to taste the gin.
Yeah.
So I'm very much a traditionalist in that way when it comes to my cocktails and my cigars.
Yeah.
Really. I don't like to get too crazy with the cigars that I smoke.
Yeah.
Don't play with my stuff.
Don't
No,
play with
I
my
love
stuff.
that.
Don't step on it. Like, just give me the real. It's kind of like, you appreciate this as a chef. The best food comes from the simplest ingredients.
Of course. It
Right.
has to do about the ingredient.
It's all about the ingredients.
Don't fuck with it. You buy like this is what I try to explain to like line cooks even right now, right? If I spend all this time and effort buying and spending money on this beautiful ingredient,
Mhm.
let's take a carrot, right? Let's take a baby carrot.
Okay.
If I source it from a farm
Mhm.
and I buy this baby carrot and I know it's good,
Mhm.
why would you make that carrot taste like anything else but a carrot?
No,
But
the
it tastes
point
like a
is,
carrot.
it needs to taste like that.
Enhance it, right? So like for instance, like we like to do at White Bull is I do carrots and then I do a little bit of honey to like really bring out the sweetness.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'll normally do it with like either ricotta cheese or burrata because it's gonna add fattiness to it.
Mhm.
And then I'll do like a little squeeze of a lemon juice and some olive oil on top because all that fat on the plate you need acid to cut through it, right?
Okay.
So, but at the end of the day, it tastes like a carrot.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And then what we like to do at both restaurants is we try not to throw anything out. So like I'll buy the baby carrots with the stems on it and I'll make chimichurri out of the stems.
Beautiful.
Oh,
So then I toss that, so I toss the carrots in that. So now it's like carrot squared.
Right,
Because
right,
it's
right,
carrot on
right.
carrot. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like
Carrot on
that,
carrot.
that to me is how you're supposed to treat food, alcohol, cigars. Like when it's supposed to taste like something, let it taste like it.
Let it taste.
Don't mess with
like
The only thing I can say that I like, I don't mind experimentation at all. Actually, I kind of look forward to it. The only thing is going to be in beer, in craft beer.
Yeah, it's different.
That's the only thing I look for.
It's different.
But don't go playing around with my cigars. Don't go
No.
aging the tobacco
No,
in weird
no,
barrels.
no.
Don't make
See,
my
that's why I
carrots
was never
taste
a
like
Gurkha fan.
eggs.
I've never been a huge Gurkha fan because of that.
gosh.
That's why, like, I
gosh.
had
Alright, so
one-
we're going there.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing. All right.
Listen, so I had one time that was dipped in brandy,
Yeah.
and it was
It should
fucking
be.
awful.
Put it this way.
Awful.
Probably didn't start out much better.
Yeah.
It probably started out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have a very high opinion
Yeah.
of
Same.
Gurkha as a company.
Yeah. I agree.
Of their cigars.
Did you say your everyday cigar?
Yeah, well, I like Padron. So if I had to
Okay.
pick an everyday cigar, I'd do Padron 1926 number 9.
Okay.
I can smoke that every single day. But much like LA said, we smoke so much.
Yeah.
My palate goes all over.
Of course.
You know, I love higher end Fuentes. I don't really like their core line, their Chateau series.
Yep.
Everything above a Don Carlos though is really good.
Okay.
I love all of the stuff that comes out of LT Town down in Miami.
Okay.
Something like the La Puna Goldie, like the new Cohiba Series M.
The Series M is good.
Like everything that factory does. Absolutely love those. Placencia makes beautiful, beautiful tobacco. They supply the industry with a ton of tobacco.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All the way around, and their stuff is top notch. So yeah, it's the same. You know, like we go.
I'm talking to y'all all day. Smoke something.
We go all the way around the board, man.
Oh, those are them?
It's super great.
That's
Yeah,
them?
that's
That's
what
the
says
your everyday.
So
That's
well,
what
that's the Alma Fuerte.
Okay.
So that one's a little different. So that's going to be the opposite end of the spectrum.
Okay.
From the compo, which
Okay.
is the one that I was saying would be my everyday. But same manufacturer. Yeah, this one's going to be on the bolder side. It's going to wake you up.
Okay.
So
I love
so
it.
I'm gonna brag on myself a
Do
little
it.
bit, right? And this may come
So
out
what are we
nice.
doing,
This
V
may
cuts?
not. We're gonna do some straight cuts.
Okay.
Straight cuts. Always straight cuts.
Okay.
So I knew we were coming here when we were doing this
Okay.
podcast, you know, and I've talked to you enough that I kind of get a sense of type of things that
Yeah.
you like. I had a feeling something like a Negroni was gonna be drank
Yeah, of
today.
course.
Whether
It
it
has
was
to.
Aperol or Campari, something
so
like that
much.
was gonna go, right?
Of course.
But the thing I love about Negroni is one of my favorite cocktails, because I like gin. I really, really like gin.
Seems
And
funny because not me.
really, really love gin. And what a lot of people don't know is that gin, especially with all the botanicals in it,
Yep.
pairs beautifully with full body cigars.
Okay.
Everybody tends to run to bourbon or run to scotch.
Yeah, of course.
But gin pairs beautifully, as does Campari, right? Because
Okay.
they both have that aspect to where they're almost like palate cleansers.
Yep.
Right? So to me, when I have a cigar and I have gin with it, every puff is like a new puff. I get to experience all of that. So that gin is gonna wake up the pepper in that cigar. It's gonna bring all of that beautiful stuff out. So I think you're in for a good time with that.
Ooh, that's delicious.
Uh-huh.
That is delicious. So you guys have these there?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's really, really
And
amazing.
it comes in a few different sizes.
Okay.
This size smokes the best.
Yeah.
The Salomon looks the best.
It looks the best. This one's
but this one smokes the best.
So now, so we got your everyday,
Okay.
your best cigar you've ever had in your life.
All right.
And now we kind of talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah.
So best cigar, not just best tasting, but maybe most memorable experience
Yeah.
while smoking cigars.
Yeah, my most memorable one is easy. It was a Camacho Diploma, and it was memorable. And the reason I will never forget this cigar is because this moment I'll probably never ever forget. So I'm down in Belize. Family, we have a house down there, and it's like a 5-minute walk to the beach. And so right there at the beach is this little resort that this husband and wife own. It's just probably a collection of like 12 bungalows and then like the main lobby restaurant area. Well, they built this pier that goes 100 yards out into the Gulf of Mexico. And at the end of the pier is a gazebo, and gazebo's what? An octagon.
Yeah.
It's got 5 sides. So it's got it's got 5 hammocks. We got a hammock on each side. So one night, the family, everybody had a good time down there, but all the old folks, everybody's kind of knocked off, gone to sleep or whatever, and I was still up. And so I grabbed a cigar, and I grabbed a bottle of Macallan Fine Oak 10-year that I got in the duty-free shop.
Nice.
I was in the airport, and I head down the beach. 5-minute walk, boom, go on the pier, jump in one of the hammocks. It's the middle of the night, moon's bouncing off the waves, breeze is blowing, I'm swinging, I've got the cigar in this hand, I've got the Macallan in this hand, and it's just like, it didn't get better than that.
Yeah.
Right? So I would like never. Now, was that the best tasting cigar I ever had?
Probably not.
No.
But it was for that day.
For that day,
Absolutely,
yes.
it's amazing.
Nothing could beat that. Nothing
All right,
could beat that.
you.
So for me, the best cigar I've ever had was the first time I smoked a Cohiba Bahica.
Okay.
Right. Now,
I've never gotten into Cohibas. Are they as good as everybody says they are? There's a couple. There's
My-
probably the entry levels and then the high
my
end stuff,
my
right?
answer to that question,
just like women.
regardless
Yeah.
of the cigar, right. Regardless of the cigar, you could have asked about any cigar. My answer to that question is yes and no.
Okay.
Right? Is it a good cigar? Yes. Right? And no matter how much you pay for a cigar, no matter how much hype a cigar gets, right? All you can really expect or hope for is that it's a good cigar.
Yeah.
Right? You never want to jump into anything thinking it's going to be life changing
Yeah, of
and the
course,
best cigar
of
you ever
course.
had, because you're going to be
Yeah.
disappointed.
Yeah, always,
Right? Is it going
always.
to be a good cigar? And the Cohiba Behike is a good cigar. It's not my absolute favorite cigar, but the reason I brought that one out is because it's one of my favorite cigar memories. When I went to Havana, stayed in Havana for, I think it was like 6 days. And around the third day of the trip, I went to the LCDH, the La Casa del Habano, in Havana Libre Hotel, right downtown in Havana, and bought a Behike. It cost me like $30, right? And that night, myself and my group, we ended up walking on the Malecón, right? The Malecón in Cuba is that seawall,
Okay.
right? That literally separates the street
How was the food in
from the
Cuba?
ocean. The food in Cuba was really, really good.
Okay.
It was clean.
Okay. Good.
It was
Good.
clean. You could
Good.
taste that it didn't have all the extra
Good.
stuff.
Yeah. Good.
But on the Malecón, like 10 o'clock at night, drinking a Dollar Presidente, watching just the Havana nightlife and the streets go by, all the music playing, all the chicas walking up and down
Yeah.
the streets, tourists, everybody having a good time. It was just a beautiful. It was one of those moments like, man, this is life.
Yeah.
Good as it gets right here.
It's as good as it gets.
So for me, we already said it, but for me it was when I was 15, it was the Monte Cristo #2,
Mhm.
Cuban. That was for me. That was my most memorable because first cigar I ever had, like really just sent you over the edge. I was sitting there with both my bosses, just hanging out, having a blast. Best tasting cigar I ever had was that Padron you gave me.
That Padron.
That
Listen,
Padron
50
was
LA?
insane.
listen.
That thing
Yep.
was insane.
Okay.
So I ended up getting a second one.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I gave one to Anthony, the GM at White Bull, and
Yeah.
he went fucking nuts.
Well, listen.
Nuts.
There are cigars that cost a lot more money than that cigar, but I will put that cigar up against any
Whatever that
cigar.
is.
Well, you know
on
what?
the
You
market.
gave me the time before this one. You gave me the Opus X Angel something.
The Angel Share.
That was fucking insane.
The Angel Share is amazing.
That was insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, that you gave me the Lost City a couple times ago.
Yeah, the Lost
and
City's
then
good
I
as
forgot
well.
what was the other. I think
Did
it
you
was
smoke this one? The rare pink?
No.
Rare Pink.
All right, take that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Take
it.
that, bro.
That's sick. The last time I was in, not the last time, not the one before that. I think when we first actually met, you gave me what was it, God of Fire?
Yeah.
That was insane. That's a great cigar.
So when I say high end Fuentes,
Yeah,
that's what we
like that's
talk
the
about.
stuff I like to smoke.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great
right?
cigar.
God of Fire is an amazing.
So let me tell you a
cigar.
really funny story about Fuente, right? So
Okay.
we kind of chatted about how eventually I want a cigar bar, right? I
Right.
want a cigar lounge. Kind of talked about the idea I had about like going a little higher end, doing like some sort of you got to pay to get in type ordeal, right?
Yeah.
So I want to call it Hemingway's,
Okay.
right? Because
Okay.
well, a couple of reasons. One, the White
White
Bull is
Bull.
named after Hemingway.
Right.
Yep.
So Hemingway named a blank piece of paper the White Bull. So the White Bull is my blank piece of paper. I just got to Atlanta, so on and so forth, right?
All right.
So I want to call it Hemingway's. So shooting the shit with Anthony one day, because I would put Anthony in charge of it because he's got a good palate for cigars. He knows what he's doing, and
Okay.
and he'll be a good manager for that restaurant, right?
Okay.
It wouldn't be a restaurant, it'd be a bar with a cigar lounge. So shooting the shit, talking. About 3 or 4 days later, I'm sitting right here at Grana, and I'm downstairs, and a buddy of mine walks in. Dude, Jeremy, probably haven't seen him in like 3 months, right?
Okay.
He goes, hey man, you should come to the cigar dinner at Blue Martini on July 6th. And I was like, sure, yeah, I'd love to come. I was like, put me down, I'll show up. He goes, well, I want you to meet my buddy that's running, like, I guess he's the biggest distributor or importer of cigars. I forgot what he said, but a friend of his is the guy that you talk to get cigars in, like certain cigars when you order from, right? Like he does that. So yeah, I'm guessing he's a distributor, right?
Okay.
So he goes, he's really good friends with Arturo Fuente. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, are you for real? And he goes, yeah. He goes, he's got him on his phone. Like, he can call him right now. And I was like, call your fucking buddy, get him on the phone with Arturo Fuente right now. So fucking 3-way call from back in the day. 3-way call it, gets Fuente on the phone. And he's like, hey, this guy Pat owns a couple restaurants in Atlanta, and he wants to do a cigar lounge. And called Hemingway. He goes, I'll send the plane. Get on and let's talk about it. So that was like how we left it. Never sent the fucking plane.
Oh, I was about to
obviously.
say, whoa,
But, like, never
whoa.
sent the plane. But like, I felt like it was sick to have an in because like,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to do something like that. Like we kind of talked about like the idea I had and like kind of do like a little bit more higher end exclusive
Yeah.
ordeal, kind of like for like Patel. I mean, that's to me like it's a high end cigar lounge. Like there's been a couple I've been to in the city that my everyday cigar place where I can't get to burn is Jay's.
Okay.
And I told Big
Yeah,
Al
my
to
man
say
Mike-
hello.
my man Mike just bought it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, man, what a cool little spot. Right? I was there. We were sitting there watching fucking Skyscraper from Dwayne Johnson, and we were watching some like really, really insane Mexican cartel movie, and it's just me, Big Al, and I guess they call him the Godfather. He's sitting over in the corner. It's just three of us. I'm like, this is crazy. And to me, it's like if I'm leaving work and I really
Yeah.
want a cigar. You know, I live right around there, so I
Mm.
get there. You know, two minutes later, I got a cigar in hand and I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now like we're gonna step back a little bit. So starting with you, LA. Tell me where it all started. Walk me. I want from the day you were born to right now. That's what I want.
Well,
right now.
I was born. I was about 19 when I was born. Like, I came out. I had
I
a
love
full
it, I
beard
love
and
it.
the whole night.
I love it.
But yeah. So I was born in Southern California in Los Angeles, and you know I had a I guess normal childhood. Nothing really out of the way. Left after high school to go to college. Came down south, which is where I've been since I left California. But yeah, came down south, went to Mississippi to go to college. My freshman year, I was 16 years old. Good decision, bad decision.
Okay.
Right.
Why?
Definitely not mature enough to be away from home on my own.
So not to cut you off, but the last podcast, Chef Pat from White Bull and Anthony, the GM from there, were talking about. I was 23 when I ran my first restaurant. Oh shit! I had no fucking business being the executive chef at 23. Right. So like I think about my dad at 23, right? So my dad, I mean, funny story. You guys will get to meet him because I'll take him up there one day when he comes to visit. He lives in Connecticut. Yeah. But whenever he tells you the story of how he got to America, he was born in Italy. He came when he was 19, and every time he tells me a story, he came with less money. So we're at $6 the last time, right? So we're at $6 in his pocket. So from there to where he is now, with 5 houses later, worth a couple $1 million, he's doing well. Retired at 55, you know, just did well. But always starts with less money, right?
Right.
So eventually it's going to turn from dollars to lira, where that's where the Italian money was back in the day, which is like 30 cents. That's basically what's going to end up happening. But I'm thinking, and I was like, shit. I was like, at 23, my dad had me. I couldn't even imagine of having kids at 23.
At 23,
yeah.
Couldn't even fathom it. You know what I mean? That's why like when you see kids now, 23 years old, getting engaged, I'm like, good luck.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Listen, I wish you the best.
Yeah.
I'm 44. I've never
Yeah.
been there. Like
Yeah.
and I'm just now at the point now where I'm definitely on board with it. But literally up until about 35, it just sounded like, literally for me, just sounded like the dumbest thing in the world.
Of course.
Being married, I would have been a horrible husband. Bro, I would have been a horrible husband. And for no other reason, I was just really, really self-centered.
Yeah.
Everything that went on around me, I was the son.
Of course.
Like everything
Of
had
course.
to be
Of
about
course.
me.
Of course.
So the idea that there was going to be this woman there that would want some attention and want to be shot with compliments.
It's very difficult.
Oh man,
I couldn't imagine.
It is not easy.
I couldn't imagine it.
Yeah.
It is not easy.
Hey, but like Bobby Womack said in the song, woman's gotta have it.
Woman's
Yeah.
gotta have
Woman's
it.
gotta have it, man. So if you're not willing to do it,
Yeah.
then don't do it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
Right?
real. That's real.
But yeah, so got to college at 16, flunked out. Did a panty raid. I was trying to bring that back and make that a thing
I
again.
love it.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, I was trying to bring that back. I didn't get in trouble for that. I got in trouble for a bunch of other stuff, but not for that. Yeah, so I think the dean was just really more surprised, like, fucking Animal House? Like, what are you doing, man? Like,
That's
who
fantastic.
does that?
I love it.
But yeah, so stayed in Mississippi, went to Jackson State, and then stayed in Jackson.
How was Mississippi? Never been. I can't wait to go. My brother-in-laws love Jackson, Mississippi.
Listen, if I hadn't taken the job that moved me here, I can honestly say I would probably still be
Really?
there.
Don't venture out past Jackson.
That's all I hear.
Like stay in Jackson.
How's the restaurant program over there in
Stay in
Jackson?
Jackson.
No, so here's
They need some good Italian food?
Dude, they could definitely.
Everybody needs good Italian
Everybody
food.
needs good Italian food, right? Everybody needs
Come
good
on.
Italian food. But no, you know what? The restaurant scene there is, and you know what? Now that I think about it, because I didn't really become a foodie, which I hate that name. I wish there was
I
something
despise
better.
it, yeah.
I wish there
I
was a
just like
better
food.
name, right?
I like good food.
Yeah,
Let's
I
call it
like
that,
good food.
yeah.
And here's the thing: good food doesn't have to be expensive.
No, absolutely
It
not.
just has to be good.
Absolutely not.
It just has to be good.
100%.
So yeah, as when I got here, and the food team here is really cool. I started getting more and more into it. I start paying attention to stuff, like what do I like, cuisine-wise, like what's my favorite, what I kind of gravitate towards. Paying attention to, like we were talking about the design of this restaurant.
Yeah.
How that is part of the experience.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
Like there's a way that you wanted people to experience the food that you were serving them.
Yep.
You know, from the lighting to the chairs, all
to
of
the,
that stuff.
to the photos of my family
Yeah.
looking over you as they're eating, judging the fuck
Yeah.
for ordering fucking Parmesan cheese on your clams.
Oh my God.
Judging you like crazy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's it's a thing,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
And it's the same when like John and I talked about like with cigar bars, right? The idea that we're gonna do a cigar bar, we're gonna do a cigar lounge, but there is a way that we want you to experience the cigars, right?
Of course.
And whether or not other people that have open lounges and stuff in the city, whether or not they've had that same kind of thought process, like I really want them, when the humidor needs to look like this,
Yeah.
because when they walk in, I want this to be where their eyes focus, right? I want them to turn this way. Whether or not they put that much thought into it, we think about that kind of stuff when we go out,
and
right?
it's important.
Absolutely.
So, doing that, you know, and looking back to what I had access to in Jackson, was actually a pretty good situation. Like we had some really good restaurateurs there.
Yeah.
That really, and there were a couple, 2 or 3 groups that had multiple restaurants, different concepts. I think I just kind of took it for granted.
Yeah.
Right? I just
course.
knew I dug it. It was cool. The food was good.
Yeah.
But as I matured, I realized, dude, like I was in a good situation there. You know, knew the chefs, you know, knew the GMs, what have you. So when there was an opportunity to dine at the chef's table or something like that,
Of course.
you know, I got the phone call.
Yeah.
If there was, you know, if they were if the owner was kind of checking out new executive chefs, like he was looking to hire somebody else, and was like, I need somebody to come here and eat this shit. Let me see what the fuck this guy's doing. Right? I got that phone call.
Well, you trusted your palate.
Yeah. And so it was, I took all of that for granted. I just thought I was just one of the cool kids.
Of course.
Like, and it's bigger than that.
Yeah, but
And
how old were you?
I was young. I was in my early 20s.
Of course.
I was in my early 20s. So I took all of that stuff.
See, we
You
ain't
know,
had
for a
none of
lot-
that in Belt Austin.
A lot of shit I took for
None of
granted
that.
in my early 20s.
Bro, and it's like, I'm glad that I wasn't hooked on like hard drugs.
Yeah.
Because I can still remember all that. I can
Yeah, of
recall
course,
all
of
this
course.
stuff now, right? So conversations like this, I'll think about it. I'll be like, yo, I did that.
Yeah.
Like I've done that before,
Yeah.
right? You know, I had a guy, buddy of mine. He had to be getting out of the federal pen sometime soon. No, this is that's not part of the
Hey,
story.
we'll send him this podcast.
it's not part of the story, but we used to talk about one of these restaurants, right? So there's this really, really, really great steakhouse that we had in town, and I always hung out with older guys.
Yeah,
right?
same.
Because it wasn't that like my closest friends, we were all the same age,
Yeah.
but I knew that they didn't know shit because I didn't know shit, right?
The knowledge older people have.
It's invaluable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is, man. I my entire life have surrounded myself with older people. Like, perfect
Yeah.
example is open white bowl with my cousin on our own, nobody else's money, right?
Mhm.
When Grana happened, I became partners with this gentleman named Brian, right? And Brian's fantastic. Brian's 55, I'm 37. He legit could be my dad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I told him the first day I met him, I was like, don't take this disrespectfully. I know you need me more than I need you, but I need you because I want to know what you know.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
know that. Give me that insight. Plus, I was always the kid, right? Like even at 24, I was the most successful guy out of my friends.
Okay.
Always, right? So I want to hang around with people more successful than me.
Right. It's
Why
the
would
only
I-
way to level up.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
exactly, right? So like I'm I'm 100,000-aire. I
Yeah.
want to hang out with millionaires.
Right,
Like, I
yeah.
want to know what
Right.
you did to get where you are.
Yeah.
Now, granted, like my old boss used to say, you know how many people your dad must have pissed off to live up there on the hill looking down at everybody else? I'm like, you're right. But in the same sense, like, it has to do with just shit that's going on in the world right now, right? Like,
Okay.
be a good person. Period, right?
At the end of the
for
day.
for me, it's like it's all about karma. Like, I want to leave the world better than how I got here, right? So like, I want people to know that one day I gave more than I took.
Yeah.
Period, right? So like, whether it's training staff, whether it's backing, a really good chef that's in our company,
Mhm.
whatever it is, continuing to invest in them, right? Because at the end of the day, you take somebody like, we have a kid named Blake that works here, right? You take somebody like him. That kid, he's 20 something years old, mid-20s. He's with me for the next 20 years. If I take care of him,
Yeah.
he's got a kid on the way.
Yeah.
You take care of him, right? With the kid. Then you take care of the fact that he wants to move on up. So you make him a chef de cuisine or executive sous chef, right?
Yeah.
Then you make him executive chef. Then when he thinks he can do it on his own, you back him.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I not give you money to do it? I'll make money off your hard work.
But see,
And
people,
I already
That's all
know
it
what you
comes
can
down
do.
to. And I
People
know
don't
what you
think
can do
what
because I
can
trained
do.
you.
Exactly.
people don't think like that.
It's just crazy to me.
always a better
crazy.
move to invest in people
Yeah.
than to try to replace people. When you have a quality person on your team, and you invest in them, it turns into a situation where they make you
It's
more
invaluable.
money. Yeah. And then you end up making more money.
Of course.
And you get to have that nice warm feeling knowing that you
For
helped
sure.
somebody achieve their
Absolutely.
dream.
Yep.
It's just great all the way around.
I
And more
agree.
people should look at it.
Some
Like
people
that.
are just greedy though.
Some people
No,
just greedy.
I agree, man. There's a lot of like when I came to Atlanta, right? I came to Atlanta in 2017. I left Connecticut. I owned my own restaurant there. I was like, I want to go somewhere where there's chef camaraderie. There is none here, right? Like there's a couple of us that are friends.
Yeah.
But after that, there's a lot of people that hope you fucking fail.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
Which is
absolutely.
fucking sad.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, the white bull, right? 18 months in, we were fucking struggling. Not one person came by and said, hey, what can we do to help you out? Now, we're killing it, and we're asking,
Yeah.
dude, what do you need? Do you need,
Yeah.
there's a restaurant in Decatur that, I ate there, and, the whole menu is meat. I'm like, dude, 90% of my menu is vegetables. People in Decatur, they want fucking veggies.
Yeah.
Put a carrot on this menu. I was like,
He
you're,
goes
wel-
to baby
you're welcome.
carrots again.
That's what I said. I'm like, just do something that's gonna get people. I was like, you gotta understand, when you go to meat, right, you gotta think meat, 80% meat, right? But at the end of the day, both of my restaurants, you look at that restaurant, Monday through Thursday, it's 99% women.
Oh, absolutely.
Because on Friday and Saturday, they bring their husbands
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
their boyfriends.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they're eating meat. I won't put a steak on this menu until Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because I know it's gonna sell. It ain't selling through the week.
Yeah.
But it's just stuff like that. Like, you gotta know. Same thing with cigars, right? If I come in every single day and I keep asking you for Ashton, and you don't have it,
Mhm.
eventually you're gonna put an Ashton there because I'm coming in.
Yeah.
Same thing is here, right? Like, perfect example, in a restaurant in Connecticut, we had this guy came in, really nice dude, his name was John, probably spent $1,000 a week in my restaurant. It's a
Wow.
lot of fucking money.
Yeah,
I was in
I
there
remember.
5 nights a week, spent $200 a pop. Came in one day and he goes, I've been asking you for 3 weeks, you still have not bring in Ciroc. I was like, I got you, no problem. I was like, nobody really told me, I got you. The next day I brought in Ciroc, his 1,000 went to 1,200 a week. Just 200 a week off Ciroc.
Just-
That's
that's
one
crazy.
bottle that cost me
crazy.
$18 that he's spending
Right.
200 on.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
give the people what they want.
But that's
Like,
a level of customer service that people don't understand.
well, that's the thing, right? Is like I make fun of other chefs so much sometimes because I sit there and I go, the worst thing for chef-owned restaurants are themselves, because they get so in their head about what they want to do, but at the end of the day, the ego. Like, listen, man, I have an eggplant parmesan in my menu, right?
Okay.
So eggplant parmesan is the only parmesan that actually exists in Italy, right? Chicken parm, all that other stuff, that don't exist there.
That's American
Yeah, it's an
Italian.
American Italian.
Yeah.
Eggplant parm exists there, right?
Is there?
So we were battling with putting this on the menu for so long, because it's not that it was like one of those things where it was like beneath us by any means, but it was one of those things where it's gonna steal the show, right? So I was like joking around with my chef here, Elliot, the other day. I go, dude, eggplant parm in this restaurant is gonna put my kids through college. That's how many we sell now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You give people what they want. Right now, granted, you still have to stick to what you're known for, right? So like this restaurant is Southern Italian. Like people come in here and ask for fettuccine Alfredo. I tell people all the time, the only Alfredo I know is my uncle in Italy. Alfredo sauce, that shit don't exist in Italy, right? So if it doesn't exist, I'm not gonna put it on your menu, right?
Right.
But you want pasta with butter, I got you, no problem. You want the Italian version of Alfredo sauce, like the real one. That's spaghetti cacio e pepe. I'll do that for you.
Cacio e pepe. That's
Black pepper and butter.
What's the one in the cheese wheel?
It's kind of the same thing.
That?
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my God,
fantastic.
that is my
yeah,
jam
it's
right
fantastic.
there, man.
So it's funny because we're gonna bring the cheese wheel here in a couple weeks.
Let's go.
Oh
Sure,
yeah.
man, invite you guys in.
Let's
to
go.
be-
You have to.
Let's go.
be our guys.
You
to,
have
to
to.
guinea pig that.
That
for
is
us.
my jam
Yeah.
right there, man.
Yeah.
There's a. Tell me again. How do you pronounce it?
Cacio e pepe.
Cacio e pepe.
Yeah. So it just means cheese and pepper.
Yes.
Yep.
So, was in. When did I go to Miami? 2 months ago. It was like 2 months ago. I went to Miami, and there's literally a restaurant. The name of the restaurant is Cacio e pepe.
Oh, I love it.
And I didn't know what it meant. Pulled it up online. Reviews were freaking awesome. And my girl and I, we walked in, and it was at 9:45, and they closed it. They posted hour. They closed it at 10:15.
Okay.
Something weird.
Weird.
But whatever it was, we were 30 minutes before closing.
Yeah.
And we walked in and walked up, and there's a couple people sitting on the little patio. It's not a big restaurant at all.
Yeah.
A couple little, maybe 6 to 8 tables on the patio, and maybe 10 to 12 inside. It's a real small spot. And we walked in, and a couple people sitting outside on the patio, a couple people sitting indoors, and the guy walks up to us, and I said, "Yeah," I said, "We'd like to get a table for 2." And he just stares at me. So just a little awkward silence for a couple of seconds, and I was like, "Are you guys still open or closed?" And he says, and he didn't speak any English.
Italian dude?
Yeah.
Love it.
And I was
That's
like,
beautiful.
But those guys, man.
"Listen."
They'll fucking kill you with their eyes.
Yeah, so he's giving me
For real,
this
man.
look like, the fuck, we close in 30 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
What are you doing
Yeah.
here? And so he's like, closed. And I was like, okay. But my girl and I, we kind of looked around and noticed that nobody that worked there spoke English. English was the second language for everyone. I was like, okay. So I'm disappointed. I'm not mad. But
I'm absolutely coming back.
We're coming back tomorrow.
Absolutely
For sure.
coming back.
We're coming back tomorrow. And so we got in the Uber. We went next door and had some kind of crab boil spot. We ate there, and it was fine. We ate there, went back to the hotel, and the entire next day, all we're talking about is how we're going back to this Italian restaurant. And we got there, and it was absolutely worth the extra trip. It was. They did the cheese. They did it table side, and I was just like, oh. It's all that cheese for
Yeah,
me.
oh, yeah.
Like, I can get into this. Bro, it was so good. Then the chef comes out because the same guy who was like the host. He, I guess he went back and told the chef like, "Hey, crazy Negroes came back again today, man." Like, and apparently they really liked the food. So he came out and he like brought dessert. And he was just, yo, I'm glad you came back. I was like, yeah, no, listen, it was totally worth it. Next time I'm in town, I'm definitely coming back again. Like, this is my jam.
You gotta send me the address.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
right, that's-
No, it was so good.
So now you're in your early 20s.
Oh God, yeah. So we're way out there.
You're the guy they asked to come to these dinners.
Yeah.
How'd you get from there to Burn by Rocky Patel?
God, I'm gonna try to think this.
No, you're good.
So I leave. So I'm plugged in. I'm the man.
Yeah.
Like, right? I know everybody, politicians, police officers, club owners, everything. Like, I know everybody in town. So Jackson's like 225,000. I know everybody that you need to know. And everything, life is good. I was dating this chick. We're the 2 biggest whores in town. And we figured the only way that we could be together is if we left.
Yeah,
Like, we
of course.
couldn't stay there.
Of
We were
course.
too comfortable, and we were never going to act right.
Now, were you working in a cigar place yet?
At the time, no. So
Okay.
this would have been this would have been like 1999.
Okay.
98, 99, somewhere around there. So we moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We don't know a soul
Holy
there.
shit,
We
okay.
don't know a soul in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But we were like, this is perfect. We can move there and we can live happily ever after. So that didn't happen. So I'm living in Tulsa. My mentor from college calls me and he says, "Yo, it's like, how's Tulsa treating you?" And I said, "Well, Tulsa sucks.
Yeah.
LA Brown has moved to town and nobody seems to care. Like, I need to find a plumber. I got a speeding ticket.
great.
I had to pay to get in the club. Fuck Tulsa, man.
Yeah,
like,
of
I don't
course.
want to be here
Of
anymore."
course.
And he was just like, "You are one arrogant prick." I was
Dude.
like, "Dude, it is what it is, man." But no, Tulsa's trash.
So the biggest, like one of the bigger things for me when I moved from Connecticut to Atlanta, right? So like when I left Connecticut, like, you know, I was one of the best chefs in Connecticut. So
Mhm.
like when I walked into your restaurant, everybody stood up straight. They fucking hooked me up, you know what I mean? Everything like that.
Yes.
So I come down here, and I walk
This
into a
is
restaurant,
shit.
and like you know how much of a fucking blow to your ego that is when you walk in and
Bruh.
nobody knows you, and you're sitting there and you're like, "What do you mean I don't get a free bread and butter?"
Like I'm the
Yeah,
man.
What do you
You
mean I
don't
don't get a
know?
Negroni? What do you mean it ain't ready when I walk in?
Bruh,
That was the hardest thing.
Why
man.
am I standing here
Below
trying to
your ego? Yeah.
flag down the bartender? Like, "Hello,
Yeah.
can I get
Oh
something to
yeah.
drink here?"
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
That
so
was a
no.
That
big
never
blow
feels
to my
good.
ego.
That
No,
never
big
ever
blow.
feels
Yeah.
good.
I live my life to make sure I never have to feel that.
Yeah.
way. So he calls me. I tell him this, and he starts laughing, and he says, "All right, so here's the deal." He says, "Do you play golf?" I said, "No." He says, "Do you smoke cigars?" I said, "No." He says, "You got to pick one." And I go, "Well, I'm not chasing a ball around a cow pasture,
No,
so
fuck no.
yeah, so I guess I'm gonna smoke cigars." And he says, "All right, cool." He says, "Find a cigar shop." He says, "Go sit down, just be cool, just be yourself, like you're a personable guy, like people warm up to you. So just go in there and just do you." He says, "But ask the guy, like, to recommend you a cigar and just hang out.
Yeah.
You'll meet everybody you need to meet."
It's true though. That is true.
It's so
And
true.
it fucking
That is true,
happened.
man. That is so true.
It happened. Well, everything about it is true except for one thing.
But you
I
also
do-
gotta remember. Sorry, not.
Yeah.
You also gotta remember who smokes cigars and who plays golf. All right.
Yes.
It takes like, dude, golf is expensive.
As hell.
Cigars
Golf is expensive
is
as fuck.
expensive.
It's
So like when
expensive
you
as fuck.
meet those type of people, you kind of get your in to wherever it is that you need to be,
Mhm.
right? The only thing that got me to where I am is I could cook the fuck out of anything. So that helped because all those people would just come eat at the restaurant.
Bro,
I
so
will
when you see
burn
them walk in,
water.
you just walk up to them, you say, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're a fucking personality." So for when that's so true. I love that. I'm gonna use that shit. every
That's
day.
the- that's the truth.
Yeah,
That's the
anytime
truth.
somebody calls me, like, so we have this girl that works that used to work here, and she left to go and work in Utah, and she's not really having the best time.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit her with that. She's like 20 years old. I'm gonna hit her with that anyway.
Dude.
Play golf, smoke cigars. No, pick one.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Sound life advice. Thank you
Dude,
later.
pick
I love
one.
that.
That is like some of the best advice like I've
I
ever
love
had in
it.
my life. So yeah, so I walked in, I smoked cigar. I didn't. He told me to ask for a recommendation and smoke whatever the guy gave me. I didn't do that because again, I'm
Ego.
arrogant as hell. And I go over, and
Oh, this is
Thank
beautiful.
you, Sam.
Thank you so
has anyone
much.
told you you're awesome today?
Not today.
You're
I tell you every day.
You are awesome.
Oh, today,
You're
no, I
awesome.
haven't told you.
Well, let me be the first here.
You're actually the second I said it first. So it'll get like me.
Mm.
Oh, that's beautiful. Just what I need.
Perfect. All right, so he recommended a cigar to me. My ego won't allow me to take that. I know better. I've never even been in a cigar shop.
course.
We laugh at these people
course.
every
Yeah,
night
yeah,
now.
of course, of course.
But I was
We
that
laugh at
guy.
these people
Absolutely.
every night.
I was that guy. So I walk over and he's like, "Yeah, try this one right here. This will be great for you. It's a great cigar to start with. You can expect this, and this." And I was like, "Yeah, but that one looks better."
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, it's a great cigar. I just wouldn't recommend it for you first." I was like, No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I do this.
Yeah.
So I grab it, I take it, and he's like, "All right, sport."
Yeah.
So he gives me a cigar. So I go out, and I love this. Listen, I will always love this cigar shop. It's called Fogan Bates in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, will always hold a special place in my heart. It's the first place I ever smoked a cigar. So the way it was set up, there was a very small retail area. Not even, the lounge area was actually in the back. That made up 3/4 of the store. So there were like 5 chairs up front, and there were 5 regulars like sitting up there. And I walked out and I got my cigar and I'm looking around for a place to sit. And I said, "Hey, new guy, here, you can have my seat. I'm about to go." All right, cool. So I sit down and start smoking a cigar, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I'm sweating, and I'm inhaling this
Oh, you
thing.
inhaled, of course. Of course
And
you did.
I'm
Of course.
sliding down in my chair. Like, so by the time I leave, I'm down in the chair.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like,
With no lungs left.
oh man,
Yeah.
I'm sweating. I mean, it's all bad.
Yeah.
So I leave. But there was some cool conversation that went on there, and I was like, cigars are nasty. But I'm gonna try this again. So about a week later, you know, I go back in, and the same group of guys are sitting there up front. And I walk in, and I remember the cigar that he told me about. So I walk in, the guy's name was Jeff, that was managing the place. And I walked in, and I go into the humidor, I grab that cigar, and I come back out. And when I come back out, all 5 of the guys just bust out laughing. And I'm like, yo, guys, like, what's so funny, man? Like, I wanna laugh. And they're like, Jeff's like, all right, everybody, pay up.
Oh no. Oh no.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh
Yeah.
no.
It was like, yeah, I bet all of them that we'd never see you again after
Oh,
you left out of here
shit,
after
no
your first
way.
cigar.
I love
yeah.
that. That's great.
So after that, you know, they showed me the lounge that was in the back, and they had lockers for the members, and I was immediately sold. The networking, but not in a forced way.
Of course,
The camaraderie,
of course.
and the fact that the guys that were sitting in there, you had an attorney, you had a doctor.
Yeah, everybody you need.
Yeah, you had a plumber,
Everybody you
literally.
ever need.
Everybody you
sitting
need.
in a cigar
Yeah.
lounge.
I said,
Yeah.
the cigar lounge. And I was like, I've never been anywhere where all these guys from different walks of life, doing different things, were all on the same page and in the same place. What is
No, that's because it's raining.
Is it
like crazy
raining?
outside.
Oh, I was like, dude,
That's
that's
the
gonna
drain.
be the
Yeah,
biggest
that's the drain.
boiling pot of water I've ever heard in my life. It's like, it's downstairs and I
Yeah.
can hear it. So I met all these guys and I was all the way in, and I wanted to get a locker, they didn't have any. So one of the guys was like, hey, you can share mine with me.
Nice.
The locker memberships, I think, were like $400 a year or something like that. So I gave him $200, and Jeff gave me a key. So I left. When I came back the next day, every guy that was a locker member there had put a cigar in my locker for
that's
me
awesome.
as a welcome.
That's beautiful.
And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
yo, like
Yeah.
I'm sold, like I'm all in.
Yeah.
So from there it goes for me, you know, just smoking cigars like crazy, and just trying to learn everything I can, because I have one of those personalities where if I get on something and I'm into something, like it takes over my entire world
Yeah.
until my knowledge base, my level of confidence, until I'm able to speak about it confidently and intelligently, until it gets to a certain level. I
Yep.
just have to like consume.
Yep.
So me and the chick didn't work out.
Yeah.
We both moved back to Jackson, and I find a cigar shop in Jackson, and I go from hanging out of that cigar shop, and I had another job, to the owner asking me, would you consider working part-time here? Again, on the weekends. And I was like, nah, you know, like my weekends are for drinking and chasing pussy. Like, I'm not. This will really get in the way of that. 'Cause you guys close at what, like 9?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's like prime
Yeah,
pussy
no.
chasing hour.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. And he keeps needling me, and I had a job, like corporate America, and I hated it. And what started out as 1 hour lunch breaks ended up being like 3 hour lunch breaks.
Of course.
And I spent them like all at the cigar shop. And one day he calls me in the office and says, hey, come on, man, just give me a number. Like, what did it take to like get you here? And I was making pretty good money. I was young, but I was making good money. And I said, okay, Rob, we'll do this.
Yeah.
Write a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Huh.
Slip it on a napkin.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Are you serious?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, that's what it's gonna take to get me here.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right. So leave. So like 2 weeks later, I had a horrible day at work. Absolutely horrible day at work. Like the one where you like, I don't need the fucking
Yeah, of course,
kid.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Uh-huh.
And I go to the cigar shop, and he's there, and he's like, you good? And I was like, nah, man, bunch of bullshit with work. And he says, well, come on back to my office. And he says, listen, I know the number you gave me. He says, I can't do that, but I can do this. Slides it to me, and I literally started doing math in my head. I can pay my rent,
Yep.
I can pay my car note insurance, and he can
But
see.
I'm eating here.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and you get 2 cigars free a day, and you get 50% off everything else. And I was like,
So
I'm
done.
in.
Sign me up.
I'm in.
Sign me up.
And I've been in the cigar business ever since.
It's amazing.
I've been in the cigar business, so.
So how'd you get from there to Burn?
So the transition from Jackson to Atlanta happened when I took the job with Camacho Cigars as their
Okay.
Southeast account manager.
Okay, cool.
So we sold it.
Back when they were good.
Back when they were good. Yeah, when the Aroa family owned them. We sold a metric ton of these of their cigars, and had a relationship with the owner of the company. And he was like, "Listen, we need a new rep. We need a new manager for this area. I know you know the brand.
Yeah.
I need you." So, boom, we made that happen. I moved here to Atlanta. And yeah, I mean, I've managed different spots around town. I've worked for different manufacturers on that side of the business. I've owned part of a shop before. And the situation with Burn came about. Another thing, I said, you know what, the cigar thing is great, but maybe I need a little bit more stability, what have you. And I'm gonna go back to corporate America. It's not me.
Corporate America is trash.
It's not me.
awful.
It's
trash.
not me.
Well, at the end of the day, right, when it comes to corporate America, you're a fucking number. Period.
You're a fucking number.
Period. And that's the one thing that, like, I talk about it with like all the top people in my company right now is I'm never, no matter how big we get, right? So I don't know if I told you guys yet, but I announced it on the last podcast was we're opening a third restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be an investment in town. It's gonna be called Bastone. So it's what the Ace of Clubs is, an Italian playing deck.
Nice.
And my grandfather, every time my grandfather had this card, so he's the dude on the top left over there on the thing. He's the one with the really cool hat and shirt.
Okay.
It looks like he should be in Miami. Every time he had this card, no matter what, it was nothing in the card of deck, but he would have it. He'd get so excited he would slam it down. So it's me slamming it down in Atlanta, saying like I'm
That's
fucking
beautiful.
here now. Let's go.
He plays spades.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play spades.
I know a space player.
I know a spades player when I see one.
So it's like, so it's one of those things where like, I love that. I love that story, man. I love everything about it.
Wait a minute, and what's the name of that?
So it's gonna be called Bastone. So it's gonna be right across the street.
And what do
from-
we call it spades?
Oh, when you get all the books, you call it a Boston.
Oh, that's funny.
You get all 13
I
books,
wonder-
that's a Boston.
That's funny.
I wonder if that's
when you put them wheels
It
on
may,
that.
it may.
That's crazy. Okay.
That's funny. So, all right, John, you're up, man. Talk to me.
Oh, man.
Where to start for you? How'd you get to Burn?
I'm a country
And then,
boy,
hold on, before you guys get there,
Yeah.
what is your actual title of Burn?
Bad motherfucker.
Yeah, I love it. I was just gonna say that too. I was like, some bad dudes, man. I love it.
So I guess the official title would be tobacconist.
Okay.
And it's funny because we get the question all the time, and it was like, "Are you a cigar sommelier?" Well,
Yeah,
in a sense,
absolutely.
yeah.
In a sense, yeah.
Beat it, bro. Go fucking sit down. and bring us up.
Yeah, it's our job to literally sit up and pick your brain and figure out
What do you want?
what your cigar is.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
It's funny, and the reason I said I'll let LA handle that, that's a conversation that we have all the time, because we don't necessarily like to be lumped in with other people that have the same type of job that
Of
we
course.
do, but don't do exactly
Well, it's
what we
different,
do.
right? Because when I walk
Right.
into Burn, and like even before I knew you guys, like I would walk up, we're shooting the shit, you come by, you check to see how we were doing, you would check on, like that's different, man. That's because you guys are hospitality through and through. You can tell just by when you walk in and you just wave at you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's hospitality through and through. So you guys have that little gene in you
It's the
that just
nuances.
wants to fucking
It's
take care of
little-
people and want to make sure
yeah.
that people are
Devil's in
taken
the
care of,
details.
period.
Yeah,
Which I
man.
love, because that's like, to be honest with you, man, that's what drove me to Atlanta, right?
Okay.
What drove me to Atlanta was I searched my entire life literally till I fucking moved here when I was 32 years old, 32, 33. That feeling I had when I was in Italy, right? Like that feeling of being taken care of, the feeling of somebody like showing you hospitality, right? And it's funny because like south of the United States is very similar to the south of Italy when it
Okay.
comes to people just want to take care of you. So like your culture compared to my culture, same exact fucking thing.
Okay.
No, it's like really,
The same,
really
right?
similar.
Because think about it, like the best meal you have is at your grandmother's house.
Oh, yeah.
The best meal you'll have is at my grandmother's house.
Oh.
And it was all the fucking same, right? And that's what really drew me here was like, where can I go where I'll have that same exact feeling like that you're being taken care of when you walk in somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I felt here. And that's what we like drill it in our staff's
Southern
head.
hospitality.
I'm like, I don't give a shit if you don't like something,
Yeah.
you like it today.
Yeah.
You're gonna sell that shit because
Yeah.
it's like we have a dish we just put on the menu right now at White Bull, right? And it's called cavatelli alla carrettiera, right? So carrettiera means cart pusher. So in Italy, my grandfather would work all day at a factory,
Okay.
and then at night push his cart all through the city and sell all the vegetables he sold on the farm.
Oh,
At the
dope.
end of the night, when he got home at 10:30, 11 o'clock after he pushed his cart, there was a few things left, right? A few tomatoes, a few peppers, a couple pieces of garlic, but it was 5 kids and 2 adults living in 500 square feet, like that. They were poor as fuck. So
Okay.
they didn't want to turn the oven on They wanted to turn one burner on, cook the pasta, and that's it. They didn't want to turn anything else on. So basically what he did was he would shave the garlic really thin, he would crush all the tomatoes and shred all the peppers by hand, and then all those natural juices that are in the tomatoes and everything was your sauce. But it was a raw sauce. So it's whatever was fucking left over at the end of the night is what you ate. And he didn't want to, you know how hot 500 square feet would have got with 7 people in it?
Right.
man.
Without the
that was
oven
his
on.
dish. So
Without the oven
so
on.
I go, that's my story. Now explain that to the guests. Tell them, like, make them feel like they're in fucking Naples,
Yeah.
sitting down in 500 square feet, and they don't want to feel that way. And this is the best thing they've ever had in their life because it's so simple.
But that's the trick. So like when and not to cut you off, but when we sell cigars, right? Like one of the things I love about LA and myself is when you walk into our humidor, you're gonna get a different experience because we have different personalities, but you're gonna get the same experience,
100%.
right? And the beauty in selling cigars is being able to tell the story.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if you can tell the story, right?
Yeah, like you told me about the Padron.
Like I told you about the Padron,
Yeah.
right? Like you telling me the story about how he used to shave down the juices by hand and make the sauce by hand because you didn't want to turn on a burner in a 500 square foot apartment
Right,
with
right.
7 motherfuckers in it.
Yeah.
Makes me be like, man, I really like that sauce.
Yeah.
It tastes really. I've never had it.
Yeah.
I just got Naples.
But I want
Yeah.
like I want to eat it. Like,
I want it right now.
And,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how we approach cigars when we're talking to a customer, right? Like once you tell me what you want, I'm gonna say, okay, this is what you're gonna smoke. This is why you're gonna smoke
Yep.
it. And before you even put a flame to it, you already like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy. I love this.
The
I'm
power
happy to
suggestion.
smoke.
Of course. I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
Every day, all day.
that was a beautiful story.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful story.
Yeah, but that, if I go sit down and my server tells me that story,
You're ordering it.
I'm buying.
I'm
it.
ordering it.
You're getting one. You're gonna take one home, and you may take one for tomorrow.
And
after
and
the-
literally the only thing I'm hoping for is that it's not nasty.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
Like, it doesn't even have to be life-changing.
No, it
No,
doesn't have
like,
to
just don't be
as
nasty.
long as
And
it's
at the end of
solid.
the day, like it's one of those dishes. It ain't life changing by any means, but it was life changing
story
to
behind
them, right? And the story behind it is like, fuck, dude, I can't turn the stove on right now. Like that's their mentality back then,
Yeah.
right? And living, like think about like living in 500 square feet in outside of Naples, Italy. Like think about how fucking poor you gotta be,
Yeah.
right? Because you got $20 in Naples and you're the king,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my God,
So like
yeah.
you live a little bit outside of it, which is even poorer
Yeah.
and you got 500 square feet and it's a house. But the thing is, you gotta remember though, is like their mentality is where like I think the whole world needs to go, right? Frugal, right? Because I think a lot of people live way beyond their fucking
Oh,
means,
way,
right?
way,
like
way beyond.
you know, some people they make $100,000 a year, but they spend $175,000.
Yeah.
It makes no
Yeah.
sense, right? But then like for them, they had a 500 square foot house, but they had 12 acres of land that they farmed.
Oh wow.
So that took them from Italy to the
Oh,
United
wow.
States
Yeah.
and took them to like the more we get to know each other, I'll tell you some fucking stories about my grandparents.
Yeah.
But those like my grandma and grandfather on my mom's side, they raised me, right? My mom and dad worked every day.
Yeah.
So I lived with them. So I didn't speak English till I was 7.
Okay.
Because I learned
Oh, wow.
only Italian. So I still speak it now because I have to communicate with certain family
Yeah.
members. But it was one of those things where it was like, I want to live my life like that. Like so, we had this beautiful house in Tucker. Like after we opened White Bull, but I was just sitting there. I was like, man, I really don't want to pay $2,700 a month in a mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just bought a condo in Buckhead. I'm like, I'm good with this. I'm
Yeah.
good with $1,200 a month.
Simplicity
I'm
is
fucking
life.
really- That's all you need. Like at the end of the day,
Simplicity is
I'm
life.
never there. You know what I mean?
Bro.
My wife and kids, they sleep there, but they're never like we're at the park. We
Yep.
do shit with the kids. We're never there.
Never.
What the fuck did I need 20? Dude, my house in Tucker was 3,200 square feet.
I don't
For
want
what?
to heat and cool all that shit.
Yeah, dude.
I don't wanna
so,
eat cool
so
all
we'll
that.
drive by neighborhoods in Buckhead right now, my wife and I, and she'll be like, man, that's a crazy house. I'm like, yeah, shit's beautiful. I was like, let me ask you a question. She's like, what's up? I was like, you clean it.
Right.
She's like,
Because
she
I'm
goes,
not-
not me.
yeah,
I was like,
I'm not
yeah.
cleaning that.
She's like, not me. I was like, me neither. I was like, let's find something else.
Yeah,
That's funny.
it's wild because one thing that hit me when I was about 35 years old. Something that hit me and that has like literally hit me like a ton of bricks was you got one shot at this, right? We got one shot. You need to make sure that you put your resources, time,
Yep.
energy, money.
Yep.
You need to put your resources into things that bring you joy.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I've got friends, I know people, I have acquaintances that may make 6 figures, and they spend it on things that they don't enjoy.
Yep.
Right? So they bought a house in a neighborhood because they're supposed to live there.
Yep.
They bought a car to drive to go back and forth to work because that's the car they're
course.
supposed to drive.
Because of where they live.
Right. But here's the thing.
How you gonna pull in a Honda Civic living in a fucking $3 million house? You can't.
No,
Can't do it.
Can't do
It doesn't
You
seem
got.
like
You need to be. You might as well just get the entry level BMW 3 Series as long as it's a BMW. Meanwhile, you have the highest sense Honda Civic, which is
Right.
probably the same fucking money.
It's a
Right.
car.
But you got to get the BMW.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing. In doing all of that, that person doesn't like to entertain. They don't like having people
They're
over to
unhappy.
the house. They're not a car guy, right? So they bought this really dope car, this really fancy, technologically, superior car, but they're not a car person.
Yep.
They're not a car guy.
Yep.
What they really like is watches,
Yeah.
or what they really like is going
Cigars.
out to eat, cigars, whatever. Put your money into that.
No, they
damn
live-
what somebody
they
else
need to keep
thinks.
up with the Joneses. That's the
Dude.
biggest problem in the world.
And that shit keeps you unhappy.
Yeah,
man.
That shit keeps you
So
unhappy.
Can't do it.
I have a thing that I do every day, right? So like, get up every day. I say I say 4 things. I say happy, healthy, successful, 500,000 a year. That's my goal for this year. I want to
Okay.
be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to be successful. I want to make 500,000 this year. I say it every day.
Okay.
When I take a shower, a hot ass shower. At the end, I kick that shit down to exactly like 40 degrees. I sit there. You fucking wakes your ass up for the day, and I say the same thing again, right? And I say it throughout the day because
Yeah.
I'm a big I was raised Roman Catholic. As life went on, I kind of just didn't see eye to eye with it. So I was
Okay.
like, let me start practicing Buddhism. To me,
Okay.
that makes sense, right? To me, believing in yourself and putting good out in the world to get it back makes more sense to me than sitting down and bending down on my knees and begging and praying to somebody that it's a statue and you can't see it. At the end of the day, you can't really see karma, you can't really see any of that stuff, but I know that as nice as I am to my staff, or as nice as I am to people out there, I'm building relationships like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I walked in and I was a fucking dick to you guys at Burn, you wouldn't be on my podcast.
Right.
Period.
Right.
We wouldn't be smoking
Right.
a cigar right now.
Right.
We
That's
wouldn't be
right.
smoking your cigar right now.
Yeah.
So that's the type of stuff that's that makes more sense to me, right? People always say life's short, so I see it the other way. I think life's fucking long, dude, right? So I'm 37. I know I'm gonna live at least another 37 years,
Right.
and that's young,
Yeah.
right? A 74-year-old is young.
Mhm.
So what I just accomplished in 37 years, I'm just getting started.
Right, right.
Just
37
cook.
getting
Just
started.
cook.
Yeah, I didn't even.
You
I haven't
just-
even-
you
I
just
haven't
turned the
even
stove
tapped-
on.
Yeah.
You just
I
turned the
haven't
stove
tapped
on,
into-
baby.
I haven't even tapped into what life is really gonna bring.
Yeah.
So I look at it a totally different way. But I'm the type of kid that because I still at heart I'm 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
I'll joke around with anybody at any
Yeah.
time of the day. But I know what my goals are in life. I know where I want to be in life. I know what it takes to get there, and I know what it's going to take for me to invest in other people to get there as well. Right? That's a big, big thing for me. It's how do I get in my mind, how do I get to making 500,000 this year? Right? All kidding aside, it's doing a podcast. It's taking our social media and marketing director Amelia, that's sitting in the corner right now, waiting so happily. But it's taking her and being like, Amelia, listen, this is what I need. I need to do all these videos. I need this and that. I need to be. I tell her all the time. It should be the first one to tell. I was like, pour me the fuck out. Get me to that number. Tell me what I need to do. You give me a schedule where I need to be and what I need to do.
I'll be sore in the
And
morning.
that's it. Yeah.
Just make it happen.
With it.
I'll wash it off for me. Just get me out there.
But the staff, they see you walk in, right? And
Yeah.
they see you leaving the restaurant at 8, but they don't realize I started my morning at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's what it comes down to. I have 2 kids and a wife. I also gotta spend time with them.
Yep.
Or I say it all the time. It's every day I try to be 3 things. I try to be the best husband in the world, the best father in the world, the best chef in the world.
Okay.
Every day, 2 out of the 3, you have to just forget about for a few hours.
Yeah, that's real.
Right? So there's days where I just take the day off and I just hang out with my wife and I send my kids to somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm the best husband in the world today.
Yeah.
But 7 days a week, I need to be the best chef in the world.
Yeah.
I have to be.
That's what keeps the
I'm
wheels
always
turning.
on, right? Because
Yeah.
so there's I don't know if you guys ever watched Entourage, but there was a show
Yeah.
Entourage, and there's a scene where he was where I say to my wife all the time, I'm if you want your fucking house in Cabo and a
Yeah.
three
Yep.
and a C
Yep.
and an S-Class fucking
Look at
Mercedes,
Ari, man.
I need to be able to answer the fucking bat phone on a Wednesday when and
Yep.
and that's the truth. For us to be where we want to be in life, right?
Yeah.
To make 500 grand a year,
Mhm.
you got to be able to pick up the phone
Sacrifices have to be
and make
made,
the
yeah.
sacrifices, and that's a big thing. So we're getting way off subject, and I apologize.
No,
But
no,
I need
you
to
good.
hear your story because
All
it's
right.
like we're like an hour in, but I got to hear it.
Cool,
Anyway.
cool. So I'm a country boy, right? I like to tell people I was born by the river in a little tent, and like that
love
river,
that.
I've been running ever since,
I love
right?
it. It's beautiful.
From Valdosta, Georgia, a little small town, South Georgia, about 3.5
No.
hours.
You know
Say
there's
that
about-
again.
you know
You
there's
were
about-
born by a river. in
I was
a tent.
born by the river in a little
In
tent.
a little tent. It wasn't
I
even a
love
big
it. No,
tent.
I love it.
It wasn't even a
And
big
just
tent.
like that river, I've been running ever since.
I love it.
Right? Shout out to Sam Cook. But yeah, born in a little small town, Valdosta, Georgia, about 3.5 hours south of the city,
Yeah.
right on that Georgia-Florida line. Grew up, I got 3 sisters. Dope. My grandfather was my best friend growing up, so I've always been a little bit of an old man.
Yeah.
Grew up like we didn't have much. My first job, which life kind of takes you into circles, right?
Yeah.
Where you start oftentimes is where you end, just kind of in a different place. My first job as like a very young teenager, 13, 14, was working in the tobacco fields in Valdosta, Georgia. I used to work in the tobacco fields.
So really funny story.
Yeah.
My dad's side of family in Italy owns tobacco farms.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So
That's
the
dope.
first cigarette I've ever smoked in my life, I was 8 years old, and I rolled up tobacco.
That
was
rolled
there.
up
I was
tobacco
trying
and
to-
light it. There you
and
go.
That's how I fucking smoked it. I was 8
There
years
you
old,
go.
and I tasted this, and I tasted the tobacco. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy, man. That's crazy. I love
So
that.
I grew, so
love
I
that.
grew up. I was working in the tobacco field. Now, we used to during the summer. We used to work the field from 6 o'clock in the morning. Right, they come in the truck, pick us up, put us all in the back of the truck, drive us to the field till about 9, 10 o'clock at night. Monday through Saturday during the summer, we made $300 a week. Right, do the math on that shit.
Yeah, of course.
Grew up working in the tobacco fields, man. Soon as I got the opportunity to leave Valdosta, Georgia, like I
No,
jumped
of
at
course,
it. I was
of
out.
course.
Came up here to school over at Morehouse down in the AUC. My first summer back, and this kind of goes into my first cigar story, terrible first cigar story, right? I have my first cigar story and then my actual first cigar. So come back home during the summer, and I start working. I answered this ad in the paper for a setup and display tech, right? Setup and display tech, $800 every 2 weeks, right?
Perfect. Yeah, $100
Which is,
raise.
which
Yeah.
is,
I love it.
which was, you know,
Yeah, it's
great
beautiful.
money
Yeah,
at the
of course.
time,
Yeah.
right? Setup
Yeah.
and display tech. So I walk in, and this guy named Rick with Environmental Home Protection. I don't even know if that's still a thing. He hits me with the classic line that I'll never forget. I'm sitting in a room, it's me and a bunch of grown ass motherfucking men that answered this call. And he said, fellas, if I told you right now, you could make $100 an hour shoveling shit on the highway, would you do it? Everybody's like, hell yeah, I'll shovel some shit. Where the shovels at? Let's go. He was like, well, guess what, fellas? We ain't shoveling shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, everybody's geek. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Right? Turns out, we're door-to-door vacuum cleaner selling.
Oh, I love it. I
We're
love it.
selling vacuum cleaners door-to-door, man. So I do that for a little while. I'm talking to Rick, man.
Did you actually sell any vacuum cleaners?
Never sold. We were selling.
No, of
we were
course.
selling a unit called TriStar. It was $2,000.
Yeah, no,
right.
never sold
Who's
one.
the fuck?
Never
somebody
sold
went knock
one.
on my
Right.
door?
Never sold one. Right.
You won't buy, right?
So-
You want to spend $2,000 on a vacuum
Yeah.
cleaner?
You
No, I'm
want to
good.
spend
For me,
Next,
the guy,
yeah.
the
Like,
guy
if
just
I put it in
shirt on.
reverse and
Yeah.
put a trash bag under your sofa, I can pick up your sofa. and
Yeah.
take it out, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was wild as shit. It was wild as
love
shit. So I'm talking to Rick, and I've been working there for a few weeks because the hook. Here's the hook, right? So I could either get $800, right, every 2 weeks, or I could choose to be commission based. Now, if you're commission based, every time you sell a TriStar, you make $400.
No,
And our metrics, this is what they tell, our metrics say that every 3 presentations that you do, you go sell a TriStar.
Yeah,
We
man.
average 5 presentations. So, oh yeah, no,
Hey, I'll
give me
take
the commission because I'm young and
Yeah,
I'm stupid,
sure, give me
right?
the commission.
So I go a few weeks, don't sell shit, ain't made no money, right? So I'm talking to Rick, and Rick says, John, you know what? you're gonna sell your first vacuum cleaner this week. I'm gonna see to it myself. And when you do, we're gonna smoke a cigar. Right now, I'm a young, poor ass motherfucker from Valdosta, Georgia. Right? My mom and dad were divorced at the time. My grandfather had four daughters. They all had daughters. Right? I'm the only male in the family. I don't know anything about cigars. Like, where the fuck do I go get a cigar from? I guess the gas station.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I go to the gas station.
Yeah.
I buy a fucking Philly blunt.
I love, of course.
Right?
I love it.
I go home to my mom's double wide trailer at the time, right? Light that bitch and smoke that bitch in the living room because I don't want to go smoke a cigar with him and not know what
I know,
I'm
I
doing.
do it. Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So I take the first hit of this motherfucking Philly blunt, take it down to the chest, and I can cough my fucking lungs. But Valley ain't raised no hope. So I smoked that
Of
whole
course he did. I love it.
fucking Philly blunt.
I
Faced
love
it
it.
straight to the chest. I
I
was
love
green
it.
for 3 days.
Yeah, of course you
My
were.
mom's looking at me. She's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Bruh, it's fantastic.
I swore at that point I would never smoke anything else ever again.
Yeah.
Right? Never sold it back.
I see
So-
that production.
So fast forward, I'm working at the fish tank downtown, the Georgia Aquarium, and I'm at a stage in my life where I want to start being able to network, kind of be a little bit more upwardly mobile, kind of what LA was touching on, right? And I said to myself, I was like, well, the people that make the kind of money that I want to make smoke cigars, drive nice cars, drink great spirits, whether it's bourbon or scotch, and buy watches. So I'm going to learn about all of that, right? I have one of those obsessive personalities, right?
Yeah.
Like I too, whenever I learn something, I want to learn it through, right?
always.
After the first time that I came here,
Yep.
right, and watched them downstairs cooking, making
Yeah.
pizzas, making pasta, I went home and started making pizza from scratch
I
and learned
love
how to
it.
make
I
pasta
love
from
it. I
scratch.
love
Like,
it.
nah,
I
like
love
we finna
it.
do this. I gotta
I
know how
love
to do
that.
this.
I
Right?
love that.
I can't cook. I ain't making.
So
Obviously,
I started learning about bourbons. I started learning about scotches, and there was a little cigar shop right across the street from where I worked. And I went over there, talked to the guy, and I was like, "Hey man, I want to start smoking cigars." So he gave me 2 cigars. He said, "Try this." One was a vintage 1999, Rocky Patel vintage 1999, and the other was an Arturo Fuente Chateau Fuente.
Okay.
So I went to the Millennium Park down in Atlantic Station that night. Little. Now he told me, "Hey, when you smoke this, you don't inhale."
Yeah.
You know,
Enjoy.
and by this time we got like the for real internet, right? Because we didn't have it when I was like 18. We got the for real internet, so I've looked it up and I've like, okay, we know kind of what we're doing. And I sat there with my now ex-wife and we smoked that 1999. And from the first puff of actually smoking it, not taking it down into my chest, actually tasting, I'm like, oh man, I really like this. So then I do what everybody does, right? It's a slippery slope. So I start sliding down that slippery slope, smoking everything I can get my hands on, exploring my palate, really obsessing and geeking over it.
Yeah.
Right? Like every week there was a new package showing up at the door that had 25, 30 cigars in it. You know, just kind of smoking everything.
Raphael.
Yeah, you know, like, oh man, like the stuff they put in those
Have you guys
packages.
discovered Cigar Bid yet?
Oh, that's the devil site.
Yeah,
That's
it's devil, bro.
that's what I was on, right? Where you could buy a box of master blends for like $35.
Yeah.
You know, like it's fucking
And now all
crazy.
of a sudden you won like 7 bids. You got 300 cigars sitting with a humidor to
with your
max
bank
50.
with your bank account on
Yeah.
file, like you can't cancel it. Like yeah, so like I went to that and it went to the point to where now I had 3 or 4 humidors. I had things full of Tupperware, full of cigars, like just accumulating all of this stuff. But still working in corporate, right? Like I was working in procurement at the aquarium. We bought everything from toilet tissue to whale sharks. And then, hey, bro. So check
got
this
a
out.
guy?
So check this out. The answer to that question is yes, right?
I'm gonna need that.
So the
connect.
whale
I'm gonna need that
sharks,
connect. I
so
don't
the
know
whale
how
sharks
to
we
put it.
bought from the aquarium,
Love it.
right? Because every time like an animal or something dies at the aquarium, like they catch shit,
Yeah.
right?
A whale shark just died.
But what people don't know,
How do you dispose of it?
you chop it up into pieces. You do a necropsy, you chop it up into pieces, and then you burn that bitch, right? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Them shits are like fucking 30 feet long, bro. Like the fuck you gonna do with that?
You sure you didn't grow up in the Bronx?
Right.
Get rid of some bodies?
You chop it up into
Yeah,
pieces.
just get rid of some bodies?
Well, you know, in my neck of the wood, we feed you to the hogs.
There you go, there you go.
And they used to lie in the bathtub. Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, the thing that a lot of people don't know about the aquarium, right, is every animal in there is a rescue or was already born
Oh,
in
wow,
captivity.
okay.
Nothing came out the wild.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
those whale sharks that we bought, we actually bought them off of Taiwanese fishermen.
Oh,
They were
wow.
going to the fish market to be made into fucking whale shark sushi. And they've been swimming around in the aquarium for the past 15 years.
Wow.
Dead man walking.
Straight- Yeah, exactly. Like they were supposed to be chop suey, right? So every time somebody gives the aquarium shit about stuff like that, like that's one thing to think about. But I did that. I worked for the American Cancer Society doing procurement for them for a while, which you know, conflict of interest. But supporting their events and stuff like that. And then I finally got to the point to where it's like, you know what, I'm fucking over this shit. I don't really fuck with this shit. I gotta make some money off this
Yeah, of
cigar.
course.
So myself, a couple fellas, we started a little cigar lounge, a cigar company called Trilogy Cigar Company.
Okay.
We had a lounge right downtown, right across the street from the aquarium.
Okay.
And we had a nice little 4-year run over there, a lot of fun.
Nice.
We were having our cigars made in Miami. My Tio, Luis Sanchez down in Miami was making our cigars.
That's awesome.
And kind of rolling like that. So back up to about 3.5-4 years ago, I'm at the IPCPR, which is now called the PCA. It's the big cigar trade show.
Okay.
Like literally
every year?
Every year, yeah. Literally.
When is it?
Everybody. It's always in the summer, so between June and July.
Okay. When is it this year? Or is it canceled?
It's 2 weeks. It's
Yeah,
2 weeks.
You guys going?
Not going this year.
All right.
Not
Next
going
year, let's make a pact right now. We'll fucking go.
In there.
Let's do it.
Let's
In
fucking
there.
do it.
In
And we're
there.
opening up
I got you.
everywhere. I
Yeah.
got you.
Fuck that. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I love
Like
it. I love
seriously,
it.
seriously. I walk through the process. We get it all going.
I love it.
So I'm at the show with Trilogy. Like I'm in there peddling our wares and
Sam, you're fantastic.
Yeah,
Sam.
I'm on time.
really are.
Oh my god.
Y'all can't see this on the podcast, but I'm getting ready to hug Sam.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I'm finna hug
Oh,
her,
wait,
man.
they can because we're videoing it.
Oh, we are.
Oh, yeah, we're videoing
Oh,
it, too.
perfect.
Don't worry.
You don't know how much I love you
Sam,
right
thank you.
now.
Oh, thank you. Ooh, that's your water.
Like, you know, I'll buy a ring tomorrow. I gotta make a
I'll be
deposit.
here.
But I'm at the IPCPR and I run into this little short, weird looking motherfucker named Brett.
Oh, wow. Hey, Brett.
So Brett, what's up, Brett? So Brett is the director of humidor operations
Oh, wow.
for Burn by Rocky Patel. So I'm talking to him, and at the time he's like, "Oh yeah, we're coming to Atlanta." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Yo, when you get to Atlanta, look me up. We got a lot of stuff going on in the city. Like we got this lounge, whatever." And Burn never opens, right? Never hear from him. I don't think anything about him until a little over 2 years ago. I get a random email in my inbox, and it's like, "Hey, John, we met back at the show, and I've been talking to a few people, and they told me that I should talk to you. We're getting ready to open up in May, and you know, let's talk." So we sit down and talk. We go through the interview process and all of that good stuff, and end up working there, working in humidor. Meet this guy who,
You guys both
incidentally,
started around the same time?
we started at the same time.
So we started at Burn at the
Oh,
same
wow.
time.
Started at Burn at the same
Which I
time.
didn't like him at first.
So he didn't like me at first,
I
which is a funny story.
can't
So
stand
now
you.
let me tell you something about LA Brown, right? Myself and LA Brown have all the same friends.
Okay.
Both of us have been in the city for about 18 years,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
We have sat in the same lounges.
That's fucking crazy.
We have chatted up the same young ladies. Never before have we met until he
No
walked
shit.
into Burn for orientation,
Yep.
That's funny,
Yeah.
man.
It's crazy.
right?
It's crazy.
And he didn't like me. What?
I had a
Why
valid reason.
why didn't you
I had
like
a
me?
valid
Like,
reason to not like him.
tell the world
I
why
had
you
a
didn't
valid
like
reason
me.
to not like
I
him. He wears these fucking hats. And
Can I
it
tell you
just-
something? I love the hats, bro.
Hey, don't fuck those hats, man.
No,
Fuck
no,
those
you
hats.
know what? You
Fuck
know
those
what?
hats.
I
No,
love
no. You're not gonna tell this.
You
You're
know
not gonna
what?
tell this.
He loves the hats too because he's buying them
Look at
now.
that. I love it.
He's buying
I
them
love
now.
it. I love it.
Come on, man.
Bro, I immediately saw him, and okay, all right. So let me say this. Again, I'm very self-aware, right? I know I can be a bit of a dick. I know I can be a bit
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I know
Same.
I can be a bit of an
Same.
I know I'm arrogant. And I've been in the cigar industry as long as I've been. And I've been in this area as long as I've been. I ain't never seen this dude.
Likewise, I ain't never seen him.
Right? So I'm here.
We know all the same people, never seen him.
So we're sitting there, we're at orientation, and I'm like, what's this dude with this vest and this hat? I'm not working with this. I'm not working with this. I don't know who had, I'm not working with this. I don't know where y'all found this dude. I'm not working with this. And so I can't do this. I can't do it. So I did. So it was myself, it was John, it was this other dude. So we were all gonna be working in humidor together. And we're sitting like at this table, and they're just chatting it up and shit, and I'm just like, fuck this. I don't know where they found
Fucking
these guys.
asshole.
I don't know where they
Fucking
found
I
it.
love it.
I didn't
I
even
love
see
it.
these
I love
guys.
it.
And what the fuck is the hat?
I
Why does he have
love
this
everything
hat on?
about that, man. It's fucking great.
So we get through
It's my
orientation.
granddaddy's hat.
Bruh,
It's my granddaddy's hat, bro.
Damn, bro, I didn't know it was granddaddy. So I still don't like that hat. Bruh, it means nothing to me. I just know the hat is I can't even see the person giving the information because it's the fucking hat. It's the brim. So they go through the thing, we go through orientation, and I'm sitting there just pissed. I'm sucking my teeth the whole night. Like, fuck me. I could have just stayed in corporate America. And just fucking dude with this hat, and then the other dude, he's too fucking short. This is never gonna fucking
He
work.
was short as fuck.
It's never
I
gonna
love
work.
it. I love
It's
it.
never going to work.
I love it.
So we get through that, and the first day we work together, I walk in, and I'm, all right. Got me in here with old hat guy. All right, cool. So, all right, me and hat guy working together. So me and hat guy go in the humidor, and the first couple of customers come in, I was like, I'm not proving myself to anybody.
Yeah.
I need to see what the fuck he can do.
Yeah.
Come on, hat guy, do your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I'm watching.
I love it.
Right? So, and I'm like, oh, he might be.
That guy's pretty fucking good.
He might be okay. He's gotta get rid of the hat, though.
Yeah.
I gotta get
love
him
that
to get rid of
shit.
the hat. And
I love that you still wear the hat.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Every minute of it.
He's
the-
wearing them too.
Yeah. I love it. I
Yo,
love
so
it.
here's the thing.
I love it.
So it was that our anniversary? Was that our anniversary party?
That was the Derby party.
So
The
it was
Derby
damn near
party.
our anniversary.
Yeah,
It's damn near
yeah.
2 years that we've been open. Right. So he's always got on some sort of hat. Usually it's a fedora.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a beret.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. This motherfucker will walk up with a tam on. Like straight tam. I was like, the first time we walked in with tam, I was like, oh, that's how we feel today? We're wearing a tam today? Okay, baby, let's go. Let's go. So he shows up. So we had this Kentucky Derby party, right? And, now, as we like to say, I get to put that fucking shit on. I get to put that
Boy,
damn
get
shit
to
on.
put that goddamn shit
I
on.
get to put that goddamn shit on. So I get my white pants on, I got my blue blazer. Yeah, I'm ready. And so I show up for this derby party, and I wasn't supposed to be working, but did kind of end up working, but not. And we were doing this kind of cross promotion with Fruition Hat Company, a hat company based here out of Atlanta.
Okay.
And they had a little pop-up shop in Bern for that day.
Yep.
Big hats.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it makes
cool.
sense. So
You bought like 7 of them.
no, so here's the thing. I bought 2 of them. So
Fuck yeah.
yeah, it looks great. It looks great. I hate it.
Can the camera see that?
I hate
Can the camera
it.
see
I hate it. So the owner, hey, put the damn picture down, man. So Brian, the owner, literally had been coming there since we opened up, and for 2 years, he's like, dude, gotta get you in one of my hats. It's not my thing, bro.
Yeah.
It'll be too much going on
You look
up
good in
top.
the hat, bro.
Bro, listen.
Right?
Look good
Right?
in
The
that.
beard, and then you put this big ass hat on, like it's just gonna be too
Oh,
much.
you couldn't tell him shit that day.
It's
Man.
gonna be
Oh man.
But Brian put a hat on. He was like, "Oh, I got you now," because I would never go by the store. He said, "Just come by the store. Let me fit you for a hat." So he's there. They got the pop-up shop. He's like, "I got you now." He puts me in a hat, and I was like, "Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, I look good in this shit. Hold
love
on."
it. I love
So I get the hat, and I walk over. So I said, "All right, let me just try the hat out." So I'm walking around, and I'm getting compliments left and right on the hat. So I end up going back. I was like, "All right, right, so I want this hat, and then what else you got?
Yeah.
What else you got?
And he didn't like me because I had on a hat.
So
now
you turned him into a hat guy.
Now I'm one of those fucking hat guys.
I love it.
He had
How
to
funny,
watch
though.
me work before he even liked me as
How
a
funny
person.
though,
That's
before he
terrible.
walked in today, we were like, he's wearing that big ass
Yeah,
hat.
I told
He
him.
said
So,
it.
yeah, she was like, I was like, hey, listen. So John's gonna come. He's also doing a podcast.
Yeah.
He's gonna come in.
I was telling Sam,
Yeah.
the girl that's making all of our beautiful
Yeah.
Negronis.
And so I was like, yeah, he's gonna have on a hat, a big ass hat.
You know what's funny? I had on a big ass hat, right? But because I was taking an Uber over, I wanted to have my headphones on, and I'm like, I can't put on my headphones with my hat because they're over the ear headphones.
You can't get in the car
Let
with
me
a
put
big
on a
ass hat.
baseball cap.
I love
There you go.
So the thing, I figured this out after I buy my first big ass hat. So I get dressed, I'm standing in the mirror and I'm looking, I'm like, oh yeah, you gonna fuck him up with this, baby. The streets are not ready.
The streets ain't
Yeah,
ready.
you gonna kill him with this one. So I go downstairs, I go in the garage, and I get ready to get in the car. I still got this big ass hat on, and I get it back, and the hat
no.
the hat turns this way, it snatches my head over, and I was like,
That's great.
oh, I can't ride with I
Yeah.
take the big ass hat off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you in the car too? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I thought about buying a convertible, but then I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
big ass hat will blow
Blow
off.
off.
Get your
Yeah.
pickup truck. Get your
That's
pickup
fucking
truck.
great.
Tons of roof clean.
Yeah, I just got one. They're beautiful. They got tall.
Is that the white one?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, that's filthy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's filthy.
Dude, so I've wanted that truck since I was 18 years old.
Bro, that truck
I
is
finally got
filthy,
it.
man.
That's
Finally got
awesome.
it. Yeah, finally got it.
That
And then
is
of course
awesome.
I get it,
Yeah.
and gas went through the roof.
man.
So it's like $85 to fucking
Bro,
fill that
filling-
thing up now.
filling
Like,
up a
God
pickup truck?
Damn, dude.
Hey man, you stay in the area. You need to get your bird school.
I
One
know.
of them little electrical
I
you
know.
ride.
I got a little Vespa too, so.
You got a Vespa?
Yeah, I got a Vespa. This thing, I just can't bring it up there because I always take the throughway up there, so I gotta find the back roads.
Ah, gotcha.
Well, listen, so guys, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate
Did we
you
get
guys.
anything accomplished today?
We did. We got a lot of stuff. So listen, I got a few questions before we leave.
Let's do it.
It's
Let's do it.
Spitfire, right?
Okay, all right.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
No,
What?
I don't drink soda.
Yeah, I don't
If
need
you
a
were
Coke.
If I
Or
were-
what would you drink if it wasn't Coke or Pepsi?
I would drink Coke.
Okay. Pasta or pizza?
Ooh,
Fuck. Pasta.
pasta for the versatility.
All right, I love that. I love that. I love
Pasta.
that. Rocky Patel
Rocky Patel.
or Padron?
Rocky Patel. He cuts the check. Rocky Patel. I don't even have to think about that
I
one.
had to ask that. I got
Patel.
one more out there, but I had to ask
Rocky,
it.
Rocky,
Greatest cigars ever made.
Rocky. Bar none. He's a genius.
Heard that. All right, last one.
Okay.
Tequila or mezcal?
Mezcal.
I
Mezcal.
love it, guys. I love it.
Mezcal.
Guys, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Let's hang out a little bit more because I'm off for the rest of the night. So let's hang out a little
Beautiful.
more.
Let's do it.
Beautiful.
Let's
Thank
do
you
it.
so much, guys. And go check these guys out at Burn by Rocky Patel at the Battery. That's it.
You cut that off at the right time. Because,
Rapidly degenerating.
bruh, the Negronis were starting to kick in.
All right, same.
And this conversation was getting real ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I love it. All right, so listen. I have a quick meeting at 2 o'clock to jump